The silent scream. The debris field stretched for thousands of kilometers, spinning slowly in the void where Meridian Prime once orbited. Commander Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of the reconnaissance vessel Horizon's Edge. Her jaw clenched as she watched fragments of homes, schools, and dreams drift past the reinforced viewport. What had been humanity's proudest colony, home to 8 million souls, was now nothing more than a graveyard of twisted metal and frozen bodies. Lieutenant Marcus Webb approached with a datapad, his face pale beneath his regulation haircut. The young officer had seen combat before, but nothing like this. Nothing on this scale. Commander, we've completed the initial scans. The energy signatures match Craven weapons. They used antimatter bombardment followed by plasma strikes. There were no survivors. His voice cracked on the last word. Sarah took the pad without looking at it. She didn't need the technical details to understand what had happened here. The Craven Empire had made good on their threats. For 3 years, they had demanded humanity surrender its colonial territories and accept vassalage under their rule. Earth's diplomatic corps had negotiated, stalled, and pleaded for peaceful coexistence. This was the Craven's answer. How long ago? She asked, her voice steady despite the rage building in her chest. 72 hours, Commander. The colony's last transmission was a general distress call that cut off mid-sentence. By the time our patrol ships arrived, there was nothing left but this. Sarah turned from the viewport and walked to the communication station. Open a secure channel to Earth Command. Priority 1 encryption. The communication officer's fingers flew across his console, establishing a connection through a series of quantum relays that would reach Earth in minutes rather than years. Admiral Jonathan Cross appeared on the main screen, his weathered face showing the strain of recent events. Sarah had served under Cross for 15 years and she had never seen him look so tired, or so angry. Commander Chen, what's your assessment? Meridian Prime is gone, Admiral. Total loss. The Craven used overwhelming force to make an example of them. Sarah paused, choosing her words carefully. Sir, they're not going to stop. Intelligence reports suggest their main fleet is already moving toward our inner colonies. Cross nodded slowly. We've been monitoring their movements. The Craven Armada consists of approximately 30,000 warships, including 12 of their Planet Killer-class dreadnoughts. They believe they've already won this war. Sarah noticed something in the Admiral's tone, a hint of something that wasn't defeat. Sir? Commander Chen, what I'm about to tell you is classified beyond any level you've previously encountered. For the past 50 years, humanity has been preparing for this exact scenario. We knew that eventually, we would face an enemy that saw our expansion as a threat. An enemy that would not negotiate in good faith. The screen shifted to show a star chart Sarah didn't recognize. It displayed regions of space supposedly empty, far from any trade routes or colonies. These coordinates mark the locations of Project Prometheus. 50 years ago, we began construction of automated shipyards in the void between stars, places so remote that no one would think to look for them. Sarah felt her breath catch. Automated shipyards? Fully automated, fully armed, and fully operational. Each facility has been producing warships continuously for decades, powered by zero-point energy extractors and maintained by artificial intelligence systems. The ships themselves require no crew. They're controlled by a distributed AI network we call Aegis. The implications hit Sarah like a physical blow. How many ships, Admiral? As of this morning, 512,000 combat-ready vessels. The Craven think they're facing a civilization with maybe 5,000 military ships. They're about to learn otherwise. Sarah watched as the star chart updated, showing green dots appearing across the galaxy like a vast constellation coming to life. Each dot represented a hidden fleet, waiting in the darkness between stars. The Craven had killed 8 million humans to send a message. They were about to receive humanity's reply. Admiral Cross continued, his voice taking on a harder edge. The Craven made a fundamental error in their assessment of humanity. They looked at our colonies, our trade ships, our diplomatic missions, and they saw weakness. They saw a species that preferred peace and assumed we were incapable of war. They never asked themselves why a species that prefers peace would survive long enough to reach the stars. When do we activate them? Sarah asked. 40 minutes ago. The activation signal has already been sent. Every hidden fleet is powering up, running final systems checks and calculating jump coordinates. In 6 hours, they'll begin emerging from hyperspace at predetermined positions throughout Craven territory. Sarah pulled up tactical displays on her console, watching as strategic simulations played out across the screen. The Craven Empire controlled 47 star systems, protected by formidable defenses and their massive fleet. But they had designed their defenses to stop invasions, not to handle enemies that would appear simultaneously everywhere at once. The beauty of Project Prometheus wasn't just the number of ships, but their nature. Automated vessels didn't need life support, didn't need rest, didn't feel fear. They could execute maneuvers that would kill organic crews, accelerate at rates that would liquefy human bodies, and fight until their last circuit burned out. Each ship was equipped with advanced weaponry reverse-engineered from a dozen different alien civilizations humanity had encountered, improved upon and mass-produced. Commander, I'm transferring tactical command codes to your vessel, Admiral Cross said. You're being given control of Fleet Group 7, consisting of 20,000 automated warships. Your target is the Craven military installation at Kelros Station. Sarah straightened, feeling the weight of command settling on her shoulders. Rules of engagement, sir? The Craven destroyed a civilian colony without warning, without mercy. They killed children, Commander. Families, scientists and artists and teachers. People who came to the stars with nothing but hope. Cross's expression hardened further. Your rules of engagement are simple. Make them remember why humanity survived the dark forest of the universe while other species fell. Show them that we didn't become peaceful because we were weak. We became peaceful because we learned how terrible we could be in war. The connection ended, leaving Sarah staring at the tactical displays. Around her, the bridge crew worked with renewed purpose, preparing for what would be remembered as the day humanity stopped pretending to be harmless. Webb stood beside her, looking at the vast number of green dots spreading across the galaxy map. Commander, with this many ships, we could destroy their entire civilization. Sarah nodded slowly. Yes, we could, but we won't. We'll destroy their military, disable their ability to wage war, and then we'll offer them the same choice they gave us: surrender or face extinction. The difference is we'll actually accept their surrender. She turned to address the entire bridge crew. In 6 hours, the galaxy will learn what humanity really is. We're not conquerors. We're not destroyers. But we are survivors and we protect our own. The Craven thought they were predators and we were prey. They're about to discover they were wrong about which one of us sits at the top of the food chain. The Iron Response War Master Thaxvol stood on the command spire of his flagship, the Inevitable Conquest, watching his armada cruise through hyperspace toward the human core worlds. 30,000 ships moved in perfect formation, a testament to Craven military discipline. The destruction of the human colony had been a message, and now came the harvest. Earth would fall within days, and humanity would join the 17 other species that served the Craven Empire. His tactical advisor, Sub-Commander Krex, approached with news. War Master, long-range sensors are detecting unusual energy signatures ahead, multiple hyperspace exit points forming simultaneously. Thaxvol's forearms gestured dismissively. The humans scrambled to mount a defense. How many ships? Krex checked his readings again, his scaled face showing confusion. The readings must be malfunctioning, War Master. The sensors indicate over 50,000 contact points. Before Thaxvol could respond, space itself seemed to tear open around them. The Craven Armada was forced out of hyperspace by gravitational disruptions as ships materialized in every direction. Not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands upon thousands of vessels emerging from hyperspace in perfect synchronization. The human automated fleet had arrived. Sarah Chen watched from the bridge of Horizon's Edge as her assigned fleet group materialized around the Craven forces. The automated ships were sleek, angular constructions of dark metal and focused purpose. No windows, no escape pods, no unnecessary systems. Every cubic meter was dedicated to weapons, shields, and engines. They moved with inhuman precision, accelerating at rates that would have crushed any living crew. All fleet groups, this is Commander Chen. Execute Pattern Omega. Show them what happens when humanity stops holding back. The automated ships responded instantly, forming complex battle formations that shifted and flowed like liquid metal. The Craven barely had time to raise shields before the first volleys struck. Antimatter torpedoes, plasma beams, kinetic railguns, and weapons the Craven had never seen before lit up the darkness of space. The Inevitable Conquest shuddered under the assault as dozens of automated ships focused their fire on the flagship. War Master Thaxvol watched his tactical display in growing horror as ship after ship in his armada went dark. The human vessels fought with perfect coordination, sharing targeting data instantaneously, adapting to Craven tactics in real time. "Concentrate all fire on Sector 7, he commanded. "If we can break through their formation." His words were cut short as 3 automated battleships materialized directly in his fleet's path, having made a micro-jump through hyperspace that no crewed vessel could have survived. They opened fire at point-blank range, their weapons calibrated to penetrate Craven shields based on data gathered from the first exchanges. Sub-Commander Krex stumbled as another impact shook the ship. "War Master, we've lost 40% of our fleet. The enemy is everywhere. They're not fighting like humans. They're fighting like machines." "That's because they are machines," Thaxvol realized with dawning horror. The humans had removed their greatest weakness from the equation. No fear, no hesitation, no mercy. Just cold, calculated destruction. Sarah monitored the battle from multiple angles, watching as the Craven forces crumbled under the relentless assault. The automated ships learned from every exchange, adapted to every tactic, exploited every weakness. When the Craven tried to retreat, they found jump points already blocked by human vessels. When they attempted to form defensive positions, the automated fleet simply surrounded them and attacked from all angles simultaneously. Admiral Cross appeared on her communication screen. "Commander Chen, the Craven home fleet is requesting terms of surrender. All across their territory, their forces are being systematically dismantled. They're asking for mercy." Sarah looked at the debris field that had once been Meridian Prime, still visible on her secondary screen. "They showed no mercy to our colonists, Admiral." "No, they didn't, but we're not them, Commander. Accept their surrender. Disable their ships, destroy their weapons platforms, but spare their crews. We'll show them what they never showed us. The possibility of redemption." Sarah nodded and opened a channel to the Craven flagship. "War Master Thaxvol, this is Commander Sarah Chen of Earth Command. You have 30 seconds to power down all weapons and shields. Any ship that fails to comply will be destroyed." On the inevitable conquest, Thaxvol stared at the human commander on his screen. She looked so small, so fragile, yet she commanded a force that had obliterated his entire armada in less than an hour. "How?" he asked, his voice broken. "How did you build so many ships without us knowing?" Sarah's expression remained cold. "We've been building them for 50 years, War Master. Long before we met you. Long before we met any of the species out here. We hoped we'd never need them. We prayed for peace. But we prepared for war. Your people made the mistake of thinking our desire for peace meant we were weak. You're not the first to make that mistake, but you might be the last." The Craven Empire's surrender was total and unconditional. Within 72 hours, every military installation had been neutralized, every warship disabled or destroyed. The automated fleet remained on station throughout Craven space, a permanent reminder of humanity's true capabilities. But humanity didn't conquer. They didn't enslave. Instead, they offered the hand of friendship once more, but this time from a position of absolute strength. The Craven were given a choice: join a community of equals or remain isolated and defenseless. They chose to join. Sarah stood once more on the observation deck, but now she looked out at Earth, blue and beautiful in the darkness. The automated fleets had returned to their hidden bases, powering down but never decommissioned. They would wait in the darkness between stars, silent guardians ready to wake if humanity was threatened again. Lieutenant Webb joined her at the viewport. "Do you think other species will test us?" Sarah shook her head. "No. The galaxy has learned what we tried to teach through diplomacy, but had to demonstrate through force. Humanity doesn't want war. We want peace, cooperation, growth. But if you threaten our people, if you destroy our homes, if you murder our children, we will respond with overwhelming force. Not because we enjoy it, but because we must. The automated fleet isn't a symbol of our aggression. It's proof of our restraint. We could have activated it at any time. We chose not to until we had no other choice." The stars sparkled in the darkness, each one a possible home for humanity's continued expansion. But now other species would know the truth. Humanity walked softly among the stars, hands extended in friendship. But behind that soft approach waited 500,000 warships ready to protect their own. The colony at Meridian Prime would be rebuilt, stronger than before. The 8 million who died would be remembered not as victims, but as the catalyst that showed the galaxy humanity's true nature. Peaceful by choice, deadly by necessity, and always protective of their own. In the depths of space, the automated fleets powered down their weapons and entered standby mode. They had delivered their message in the only language the Craven understood. Now hopefully the galaxy would listen to humanity's words instead of forcing them to act. The age of human expansion could continue, but now everyone knew the price of threatening Earth's children. The war had lasted less than 6 hours. The peace that followed would last for generations,